Today we're going to be replacing the upstream O2 sensor on a 2003 Mitsubishi Outlander front wheel drive. Now in order to access the plug for the O2 sensor, we have to remove a panel in the passenger side bay area. If you want to come in closer, what we're going to do, get ourselves right here. This is the panel that you're going to want to remove. So we're going to take a trim tool. We're just going to pull it off. Now the plug for the O2 sensor is right here. It's just hiding behind a little bit of this carpet. And then there is a grommet that goes to the outside of the vehicle. And you're going to need to remove this and push it down so that you can remove the sensor from the inner portion of the vehicle before we unscrew it from our exhaust system. Alright, so this connection is just held in by a little clip you push down on and it pulls out. You'll know this is your upstream O2 sensor because of the shape of the plug is a square. And then the grommet itself gets pushed through this hole. Just shove the cable through the grommet, and now you should be able to access the cable from underneath the vehicle. So crawling underneath the vehicle, this is our catalytic converter. Your upstream sensor is before the catalytic converter. That would be this guy right here. See, it wires and goes through that grommet right there. So now that we've got the wire out of the grommet, we can undo the little hook right there, and then we take a 7/8 or 22 millimeter O2 sensor socket, and we're gonna remove it from this position, and we'll go from there. All right, we're down here at the O2 sensor, and as you might imagine, it was really stuck in there due to time. These things come with anti-seize on them, but you know, the anti-seize just doesn't do its job after 20 years and 153,000 miles. So what we did is we cut the cable to the cord because we were rounding out the spots on the O2 sensor using the O2 sensor socket, and we got ourselves a 7/8 inch box wrench and used the box end. Now, it's still going to be really stuck on there. So what we did is we took an air hammer. If you want to show them the air hammer really quick. We put the air hammer with a pickle fork on the wrench, like so. And we just kind of use that as a means of leverage to jostle this free, because you're not going to be able to fit an impact with a socket in here. So this is kind of another way of going about it. We also doused this in penetrating fluid for a bit, and we used MAP gas on it till it was cherry red. So be aware, this might be a bit of a challenge, but it's nothing you can't overcome as long as you do these things without stripping the part of the O2 sensor that the wrench needs to grip on. So preferably you would PB blaster it or penetrator fluid blast it, then heat it up cherry red, and then use the wrench to get on there with a full contact and use the impact gun to kind of break it free so that it comes undone. All right, so we got the old sensor over here. It's got a bunch of carbon on it. We got the new sensor over here. The new sensor doesn't come pre-applied with anti-seize. It comes with this copper anti-seize that you'll put on the threads yourself. Make sure not to get any anti-seize on the sensor. It's not going to take this entire tube to do that job. And then we're going to torque it to spec, which on this box, according to Walker, 47 Newton meters or 35 foot-pounds. Alright, so the O2 sensor is in place. Right up here is these little things that fold down or fold up, depending if you're putting the sensor on or taking it off. And then it just goes through the hole. It comes with the rubber grommet. And now we're just going to go ahead and connect it back up on the inside. All right, we see the cable just come through the grommet. So we're just gonna wrap it around. And it just pops in place. And we can fold our carpet back in place. We can take our plastic panel and pop it back in. And now you have your O2 sensor installed.